All right, bang, bang. We are back after the first major of the year. I have a lot of mixed emotions. We'll go into details why. But overall, I think DFS Dads, we had another solid week, cashing again. I hope all of y'all cashed. Leave in the comment section below if you did. Did you have a nice sweat on Sunday? But Price, what were your initial takes on everything over the weekend?
An awesome finish. It was awesome to see Morikawa just walk away from everybody. The dude is a killer. I love his approach, just quiet, silent, does his job. I mean, what a great leaderboard too. You have what, 8 guys, like minus 10 and 11, and him at 13. I mean, good week. It's a really cool course. Really fun to watch them play. Uh, I kind of got my ass handed to me immensely because I went all in on Turtle Hatton, who decided to putt like me. But
You're actually a
I
pretty
mean,
good putter.
I don't know how to read breaks, so that's not true. But I mean, big mistake was him over Finau, and then yeah, kind of is what it is. Luckily, I made most of my money back on Showdown on Saturday and Sunday. But I mean, it was an awesome tournament to watch. CBS sucks. The first 2 rounds were awesome on ESPN Plus and ESPN. It's amazing hearing Scott Van Pelt commentate golf. CBS is trash, but it was really cool to see all the big names on the leaderboard, everybody duke it out. And it was super ironic to watch Brooks just fold after talking all the shit he did. So I really like that.
What about you, Dustin?
Yeah, I'm kicking myself. I won't say Price talked me into it because we all do our own research, but I was pretty heavy on Hatton. Also, my other one was I talked about it with y'all. Is I went Berger over Morikawa. It looked good for 3 days, and then obviously Sunday he took off. So not the best week. On lineups that are a lot of 6 of 6 got through, and but we had great picks. You go back and look, at our core players. I mean, we had Morikawa, DJ, Berger. I mean, even though he finished top 10 still, so he still had a great round. So, a lot of great takeaways. I mean, your lineup, that one lineup was so close. I think you had 4 of the top 5 guys, and then you also had Hatton in that lineup. So, give us your take on that.
Yeah, so it's a very bittersweet week because all of the guys that I regularly play, I really like. It was literally the leaderboard was stacked with all my players, and I ended up talking myself out of playing a lot of them, especially my main lineup. For example, Paul Casey and Jason Day. I've been riding or dying with them. Jason Day with 3 top 10s, and I decided to fade him and Justin Rose last minute. The weather is going to be cold and chilly, bad backs. Justin Rose is in bad form, even though all week leading up to it, I was excited about him. I am glad on the access page, I put down for my studs, DJ and Kawa. So that went well. I switched out last minute and I tweeted it out from Xander to Cantley, but that didn't work out too well. But it did allow me to have some more salary. They both made the cut, and Cantley had a good Saturday, but overall not a lot of birdies. So I was stuck in the 7K range, and so I decided to get unstuck and just use Haddon instead on that one perfect lineup with Paul Casey and Kawhi DJ. But it is what it is. I still had two my main lineup 6 of 6 through. Wasn't cashing until the very end. The $100 tournament. DJ having the chip in, and then on 18 having the birdie. So the chip in got me in the cash, and then I tweeted it out on. If you don't follow us, go to DFS Dads and definitely give us a follow because we're sweating right alongside y'all. And then I ended up like barely in the cash, and I was like, oh no, I'm not going to make it. And then he birdies 18, DJ does. So I get back, and with the $100 tournament, went from $0 to $200. So that was a nice little swing. But overall, a good week. I'm just kicking myself that all of the guys I normally play, I had $1 million lineup. I just didn't play it. So is what it is. But let's let's move on. We could talk about that championship for a long time, but let's move on. I know if y'all watch any of these other podcasts, they talk about this. They can talk 20, 30 minutes about it, as can we. But let's get on. It's time to move forward. Overall, pretty good week. And if you are not a member at the DFS Dads or dfsdads.com, definitely go put promo code Route Combo in for 100% off for a whole month or a week, whatever you want to do. And give us a shot for a month and check out that quick access page. We'll give you all of our plays from a stud to our GPP course or our cash course to bets. Price really does really good job going into detailed depth of odds, who to bet, and give us a shot. You can do it for free for a month. We have a lot of good tournaments coming up in the next month, so now's a good time to check it out. Now, let's get on. Let's give Price. What's the overview of the tournament? It still looks like a pretty good field because it's a lot of people are trying to get into the FedEx.
Yeah, so this is the last week before the FedEx playoffs start. So normally this isn't a huge tournament. So once again, you'll see the field's a little bit weaker, but it's going to be played at Sedgefield Country Club. It's a par 70, only 7,100 yards. So it's a short course. It's going to be a lot of second shots into the green. So you have pretty much both par fives are going to be reachable by pretty much everyone. There's going to be a couple par fours that are close to drivable if you're a long hitter. It's one of those where if you don't hit the fairway, you might struggle, but it's usually going to be in the like minus 16 to minus 20 range for a winner. I think last year was minus 22. Poston just went off in the last round and shot like a 62 to win. But you're going to need strokes gained approach. You want to have strokes gained off the tee. You want to make sure they're in the fairway. I really look for opportunities gained this week. I'd rather see, instead of just green and regulation, you have a shot at the birdie that's realistic. Proximity from 150 to 175 is going to be strong. Bermuda grass. So if you're building your own model, you want to look at easy to average scoring, easy to average fairways hit, and then Bermuda grass. So you kind of sort out those who want to dig into putting. You don't look at POA or bent. The other thing to really look at is the guys who are positioning to get to the playoffs. So like noticeable, Sergio is 134th. So he has to have a good tournament in order to get inside the bubble. So him, Shane Lowry, Kyle Stanley's right there. So is Zach Johnson. So you have a couple guys who are fairly well played in DFS who are right there on the cuff. So it will be interesting to see. There's some very interesting pricing this week, I think. I think it's pretty fair across the board until you get down to the people who are like, I don't know who they are. Why would I click them? And then only two people have withdrawn. Usually there's a lot more coming in this, but Lanto and Answer are both withdrawn from the tournament. So we'll see who they add in for that. There's still 2 sponsorship exemptions to be added. But that is it for the breakdown.
What do you think? Why do you think Brooks is playing this week, Bryce?
Just for positioning and FedEx points.
Yeah. I would imagine he would have already said he was withdrawing as well. So
I think he's an awful fit, personally.
Yeah. Especially 11-4. He's got to win the tournament. We'll break into it. Not a bunch up top from 10,000 above. Looks like 5 golfers from Brooks down to my boy Paul Casey. Went from 7,500, I believe he was, to 10-3. So it's a pretty big jump for him. What do you like, Dustin, up here as your top play? One guy that you're going to ignore.
Probably everybody's top play, Webb Simpson, for obvious reasons. I mean, I think he's gotten second the past 3 years or something. He lives on the course. He's great at this kind of layout too, hitting the greens and making putts. So as far as the safest play on the planet, which, always could blow up in your face, but and he's going to be very, very, very chalky, but Webb Simpson to me is the best play there for sure. I think Paul Casey coming off such a good showing, you kind of worry about, because he got close, to win in there. And, is he going to persevere or kind of, take a step back? Because he hadn't been playing very well. as we know. I think he's an intriguing play. Fleetwood obviously had a good round this last week. Obviously Brooks. Which Brooks are we going to get? You know, and how much does he want to be there? So that's kind of scary to me, like you said, at 11-4. So he'd probably be my fade just off the bat. And Webb would be my go-to guy there.
What are you, Price?
Oh, you know I love Webb. I joked in the first look that this is the Webb Simpson Championship.
Doesn't he have a daughter named Wyndham as well?
No. I thought so too, but he named her Willow. But
Sport
he
for Wyndham, right?
loves this tournament. He's a monster at it. He's gained like 45 strokes against the field the last 5 years. So I think your approach is either plug in Webb and build around him, or fade him and pray to God that your other guys actually finish top 10, because he's gonna finish top 10. It's his course. He's a horse for it. I don't really want to play anybody else in this range, personally. There's no way I'm paying Betta Brooks, who folded like a cheap tent last week. I'm not a Paul Casey fan. I know he did well last week, but like I said, every time I play him, he sucks. So
what if Brooks throws in a big can of Grizzly?
Well, then he would be sued by Kodiak probably, but
It's Kodiak.
But I mean, I'm Team Webb. Have been for 2 years. I think there's no reason not to play him. He's probably going to be 50-60% owned in higher dollar contests, and cash probably be 60% owned. But I mean, fuck it. I'm going to eat the chalk there and differentiate somewhere else, because if I think the guy's going to win, why not play him in my lineup?
Yeah. And I think you can play him because some of the lower 7K guys we'll get to, I think, are really good plays. I think Webb's definitely the play. I think we're all three on board. I think everybody's on board here. Just to be a little bit different, I do like. Man, honestly, I don't want to be different. It's Webb Simpson. I would say Tommy Fleetwood is definitely not the play, even though he's number one on par fours, 400 to 450. So that's a good thing. I just don't. Last week he had that one really good round. I just don't think his iron game is where it needs to be. And at 10-5, I'm out. So Webb Simpson is definitely the play here. But if you want to be contrarian, fading him and just praying that, I don't know, he pulls a DJ and falls down the stairs right before the tournament or something. I don't know. I think Webb Simpson is definitely the play. I'm glad he is priced up at 11-2. So maybe some people will get off him because of that price and thinking that the ownership is going to be really high. But Webb's the play. Let's move down to the 9K range, starting with my boy Justin Rose, who looked a lot better, taking the WGC off.
What? Of course he looked better. I said
he took off the WGC. So he got his game back a little bit, had a really good week. I'm a little salty I didn't play him. And then all the way down around Jordan Spieth, who I think is a major fade at 9K. What about you, Price? Where are you at with that?
I'm good on everyone except Billy Ho. I don't want to touch. The only person I was really looking at besides him was Answer, who withdrew, and maybe Harris English, but English does not rate out well in what I'm looking at this week. So I'm not going to touch Justin Rose, who was awful off the tee last week. He just made up for it with his scrambling. I'm going to pass on him repeating that. And, Spieth's actually only missed 2 cuts this year, but I really dislike him.
His off the tee game is awful.
And, I mean, Billy Ho's, I think, probably the next safest play besides Webb. He does well at this course. He really pops in the model. He's number 4 in my model. His worst rating in anything is 31st. And he has a good track record here. And look at his form coming in is solid. So I think if you're going to use anyone, it'd be him. If you're going to go for, I guess if you want to use anyone for a GPP, you're going to fade Webb Simpson, you might as well go Justin Rose to start, because out of the guys in this range, he's the most elite talent.
Yeah, I'm on board with pretty much all of that. I don't really like this range at all. And going Webb Simpson, it's a good thing because if I go Webb Simpson, which I will, because you really can't fit a 9K guy without just going
If you use Webb, you're going to skip this range.
Yeah, and so to me, I don't really like it anyway. Nothing strikes me as, Billy Hose obviously rates pretty well. He's been playing good. Jordan Spieth does intrigue me a little bit. He did have a good round Sunday. He's kind of just one of those. He's been so yo-yo-y. He'll have a terrible round and then a great round and then a terrible round. So it's like, maybe he'll put it all together one weekend, or maybe he'll put 4 bad ones together. So, for me, same kind of layout for this range.
Yeah, I'm on board with all of y'all. I'm fading this range completely, 100% without a doubt. There's reasons to play a couple of the guys, but honestly, with Answer withdrawing, I'm just completely out of it. Especially if you want to move up to a Webb Simpson, like y'all said, and the 7 and 8K range is where the money's going to be made. Last week, that 7K range with Paul Casey and Finau was the plays, and this, and then Jason Day in the mid 8s. So this week, I feel like you have some really good. Siwoo, did he win here 2016? I'm looking.
Siwoo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so that mid 8K
par
range.
70s.
Say again?
He's a beast on par 70
Yeah.
courses that aren't huge long. He's really great at like Pete Dye and Donald Ross courses.
Yeah. And I like Price at the beginning. You said with Sergio, he needs to play well here. The 8,500 price, he can get top 15, top 18 to really pay off. He can definitely do that. And so I like going to Sergio here. And then Snedeker has won here. Did he win here twice? I know once at least. He can get hot with the putter. You're going to have to get hot with the putter. So really between Sergio, Kevin Kisner, and Snedeker, those are my 3 plays there. I can see why you would want to play really almost everybody in this 8K range. But I'm going to load up on Kevin Kisner. I think these courses like what's the course in South Carolina? The RBC Heritage. I think this is a good course for Kisner. All the par 5s. I'm pretty sure everybody can reach the par 5s. And so I think Kevin Kisner's a good play here, especially with his putting ranking 4th in the model.
Yeah, it's really hard not to just like everybody in here, but the next 2 ranges where you got to kind of take your stands. Like, look, Sanjay, who finished 6th here last year, but didn't play well last week, hasn't really played well since the restart. I mean, he ranks number 10 on my model, but I don't really want to use him. I'm going to go back to Ches, and I'm going to use Corey Connors in pretty much everything. Ches actually ranks number 1 on my model, which is scary since he played like trash on Saturday.
Yeah.
But I like them too. I like Siwoo. I think he's a really good GPP play. I don't think he'll be as high owned because he's 8,600 than if he'd been in the mid 7s, which I would have expected him to be. But I'm with you on Kiz. I really like Kisner this week. I thought I would be on Sneds, but I'm not. Look at his last 5 tournaments. I don't think he's finished better than 50th. And at 8,200, you need better than 50th. So I'd rather skip him and go down to Corey Connors.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing, right? Where does they rank in the model, and then kind of, what have they done lately? Brendan Todd at 8,900, I mean, you could say, dang, that's crazy. But if you looked at, how he's done lately, it's kind of like, do I want any of that? I'm high on Ches too. I mean, he ranks pretty high on my model. His putting is kind of the downside there, but as we know, you can get hot anytime. As long as you put everything together and you give yourself a position to get those birdies, that's what matters. Kind of like Ryan Moore, the 8,100 a little bit. He kind of scares me though, because I'm not sure why he didn't play last week.
So he decided he didn't want to play last week because he didn't think he could compete on that long of a course. He literally came out and said, "I'm not playing a course I don't think I can win," so he withdrew.
Yeah, I couldn't remember
bode well for this week.
Why he pulled out. So I was a little worrisome there, but just in my model, he ranks pretty good. Obviously Corey Connors, been played well here in the past. And at the 8,000 range, I think he gives a lot of value too. So I like Sergio too. I mean, he's got to play well. He's been there and done that. It's kind of one of those deals is, can they turn it on when they need to, especially in a weaker field? I'll do a little more deep dive on that, but I had Sergio marked in my lineups earlier today, so I'll have to come back. Yeah, this is really intriguing range, and later in the week will kind of be the figuring out, which one or two I'm going to play.
Well, how weird is it if I told you Sunday that Sergio would be priced below Siwoo, Brendan Todd, Spieth, Harris English? Would you believe that going in with this field? No.
No.
Not at all.
Maybe it's the year he misses the FedEx playoffs, though.
Maybe.
Good.
The price point for Sergio is so good for this tournament. It's hard. It's hard.
Kind of like how you were getting Brooks and DJ in the 9K range the last couple of weeks. Where the price and the talent don't really. He should be priced higher.
Yeah, that was my whole thing last week with DJ. I had DJ and Kawa in every single lineup because I thought they were both severely underpriced, and it just got to the point where every single lineup I just clicked them. I didn't care. Those were my pieces, and I feel like when I really build out the lineups this week, that's where Sergio is going to fall. I'm just going to click them with the 8,500. Let's get down to before we do. I want to know, Price, on Corey Connors. You talk about him a lot, and you really like him as a golfer. And at 8K, you said this is one guy you're targeting. What about Corey Connors makes you feel like you want to put?
He's an elite ball striker. He's great at approach. He scores a lot. He's great off the tee. What he really struggles with is putting. But I mean,
he's around the green too.
Yeah, but with someone on his style of play, he's not going to miss the green that much in this kind of course. With him, I feel like he's more going to miss the green on like longer par fours, long par fives, and this isn't that kind of course. It's where he can hit 3-wood and like 7-iron. He does that, he's going to score well this week.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he's an elite golfer. He's not like very well known yet, but he's an elite ball striker. And I want to take someone who can hit the ball better than someone who can putt, because putting is super fluky. And when that goes, look what's happened with Spieth. Fucking 2 years ago, elite putter, and now he can't make a 10-footer.
All right, I was about to say, let's move on since you already got this elite ball striking going, and you brought up Spieth. So you lost me on my train of thought there. But let's get back to Corey Connors is an elite ball striker. Because the guy right below him in the 7K range, Neiman, elite ball striker. Do you feel the same thing about Neiman as you do Connors?
I really like Neiman. I like him more on a longer course because he can bomb the shit out of the ball off the tee. But he's done well here. He rates out very well. I think 7,900 is a very fair price for him. I could see him maybe finishing like 15th or 20th, but finishing top 10 in DK points because he can score. The dude can, when he catches fire, he doesn't miss, but he's awful around the green. And as long as he puts himself in the correct position, I think he's going to do well. I really like him this week. I mean, he's been here, done it, and who's to say he's not going to do it again this week?
Yeah.
You just have to deal with his around the green putting woes, which is very frustrating when you have someone putting for birdie from 8 feet. 8 out of the 18 holes, and he gets 3 birdies.
There's nothing more frustrating than watching Matthew Wolff last on Sunday have 3 straight birdies and an eagle, and then just miss 5-footer after 5-footer.
Yeah, that was rough.
That is very rough. And then you go below him to Fratelli, and there's a lot of good players in the 7K range. What's the one player you want to go to, Dustin?
I think if I had to go to one player in this range, I like Sab. Got great course history here. Kind of a good layout for him. Gained a lot of strokes, tee to green here. So he's probably my number one. I also like Varner. I like Glover, even though he screwed me the last time I played him. for that price point. I mean, 7,300, and those are kind of the three that stick out to me in that low range. One that's intriguing is Tom Lewis, just because of his recent results. I know he missed the cut, but before that, I mean, the dude was scoring a lot of birdies, and that's what you want on this course is somebody that can get you points. Similar to Palmer for you, even though he didn't finish that well overall, he got you a lot of DK points last week because he had a ton of birdies, especially on Sunday when he didn't have any bogeys. So, those are kind of the guys I'm looking at in this range.
Yeah, I like the upper 7K range. There's a couple of players I think are really good there, but where I'm like just salivating, just excited is Bud Cauley, 7,200. Played well last week. I had one lineup with my boy Bud Cauley in there, and he lost almost 2 strokes putting, and which is something that you would not expect from him. I really like his price point at 7,200. I like this type of course for him, and I'm gonna play some Bud Cauley. Might play him in every lineup, along with Sammy Burns
and Sergio.
Say again. And Sergio too. So you know my lineup: Bud Cauley, Sam Burns, and Sergio. You just got to guess the other 3. But Sam Burns is another guy at this price, 7,200. I think a really good ball striker, 17th in putting. And his off the tee game, he can, if he just hits the fairway, he can bomb this course. And I don't want to hear anybody ever say you cannot bomb courses anymore. I feel like that narrative was happening last week. It's not a bomber's course, and I played into listening to that. And last week, bombers just stacked the field. If you can hit the ball far ways, like Sammy Burns, you're going to be in contention, especially at $7,200 price range. I think he's going to pop this week. But I think there's a lot of good plays. And no one's talking about Norlander anymore. He's been playing lights out. Well, what about Norlander at 7,300? I think that's another interesting play.
He just doesn't really pop in what I'm looking for this week. But he also doesn't have very many rounds in the setup. So he has been playing a lot better. I could see him going. But I like your call on Bud Cauley a lot more. I like Sam Burns. Love Sabs this week. I think he's going to be a great play.
Yeah.
And I like Varner. What's interesting is, so in my model, the defending champ JT Poston is 5th. And you couldn't pay me to play him this week. You look back, his last 3 tournaments, he's losing strokes. Tee to green, losing strokes. Awful on approach and putting. I mean, I hope people go to him because he's a defending champ and because he's going to pop in some of the stats they're looking for. But then if you actually look into how he's playing lately, it's going to be a wasted pick, I think.
What do you think about Sepp? He's kind of another intriguing guy that's been playing pretty good. I know he didn't finish great at the tournament last week, but
so one of the guys I kind of bullshit with every week, we talk about him all the time, how he's like a mini Tony Finau, to where he scores a lot of DK points. He always does well, but people are like, he's not going to win. I don't know if I should click him. So it's like Finau the last couple of years before he got really popular. That's how Straka is right now.
Well, shit, if he's 7,100, I don't care if he wins.
Yeah. And then I'd rather have him than the other guys that in that range.
Yeah, he's one that I've been wanting to play. I just haven't been able to pull the trigger. So is this the week I'm going to do it? Because, look at his last tournaments. I mean, tied 8th, tied 14th, 61st, tied 18th, and then 66th last week. I mean, all the players above him,
Yeah, I like the idea of pairing Sam Burns and Straka together.
You need guys who are going to make birdies. This is going to be a minus 20 finish. And it's supposed to be raining a lot too, which is going to be softer. So you'll have guys who can just hit 3-wood in. They'll be clean in place, so you can then clean your ball, put it down how you want to, and have a great approach shot in. Yeah.
Let's move down to the 6K range. Let's say you want to play Webb Simpson and maybe a Paul Casey, right? So you're going to have to dip down here. Anybody for either one of y'all take the lead on Anybody you like down here?
I'll defer to Price on this one.
Yes. So there's my guy I really like down here is Austin Cook. He's 6,500. I don't think he'll be too popular.
No.
He rates pretty well for me besides on par fours, 400, 450. But look at his last few tournaments. Hasn't missed a cut. He's finished top 40 twice, which at 6,500, you just want to make the cut. Get you 80 DK points in this tournament, and he's gonna way pay off value. I also really like Kyle Stanley. He's right there on the cuff of making the FedEx playoffs, and this is a course that fits him because he's not a long hitter. He's pretty streaky. And then, of course, got to sprinkle in some Zhang for me.
Zhang.
Him and Christopher Ventura are very interesting to me. I don't think they'll probably be like sub 3% owned. I think they both can score. Ventura was a beast at OK State and has done well on the Korn Ferry Tour. And then the only other person I'm really looking at is Bryce Garnett. He rates out very well for me. He's done well here. I think all these guys are going to be pretty low owned, and they all should be able to return value for you.
I like it. So let's wrap up with some bets, a couple free bets. And if you want the full list of all of our bets from the first round leaders, top 10s, top 20s, who we think you should just outright bet to win, definitely go to dfsdads.com, check us out, and we're gonna have a full list of all that. But Price, what's one free bet to put out there, and then one, let's say top 10 or top 20 play that you like?
You guys don't have anybody you like in this range?
Honestly,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, Ryan Armour kind of he ranks decent in my model, and obviously 6,800. He had a tie fourth at the Rocket Mortgage, which kind of equates same type-ish course. So taking a reach on somebody like that, I mean, I don't think there's anybody down here that I love. So I probably had to taking Webb Simpson. So it'll just be a little more deep dive and really getting into the nuts and bolts and who I think is not only going to make a cut, but could finish in the top 30. So Gooch is intriguing to me as well. 6,900.
If you look at his history, he's like 75th, 17th, 80th, 17th, and then he finished like 80th last week. So you're like, all right, he's due for 17th.
Exactly. Which one are you going to get?
I personally don't think I'm gonna go in the 6K range. I guess I probably prematurely moved past it because I just don't. I love like the 7,200 guys. There's so many good ones that I'm gonna fill my roster up with those and try my hardest not to dip in that 6K range because I think there's just so much value there that you can make up for it if you just play more than just one guy in the low sevens.
Another guy who I don't know how well he'll do, but he seems like he's made every cut so far is Wesley Bryan. This just seems like a perfect course for him. And at 6,600, I mean, you can kind of do whatever you want with him. I mean, if you play him and Austin Cook together, you can fit Webb and Paul Casey in. Which, if you want to go stars and scrubs, most people are not going to do that this week, and that gives you an opportunity to do it.
True.
It'd be scary as shit, but
yeah, I just like the upside of having like a Burns and a Straka. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
I mean, even those guys, they have risk too. There's risk with them, but
and Burns is 100 to 1 to win. So go throw $10 on him.
Is that a good bet?
No.
All right. What do you got on the betting table there?
So the problem is Webb is priced at 9.5 to 1. So he's heavy favorite. So if you're going to go top end, I'd probably look at Paul Casey at 20 to 1. Just because, I mean, if you look at talent in the field, he's probably top 4. And 20 to 1 is not bad for that. And then I don't really like anybody you have a bunch of guys who are 50 to 1 that wouldn't be bad. I mean, Connors, Neiman, Kisner, Moore, they're all 50 to 1. But this is probably a week where you just take a flyer on somebody on long odds and hope they somehow beat Webb.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
look,
Watch Webb miss the cut somehow.
well, I mean, Webb's finished second 2 years in a row, and then I think he got third the year before that. So I mean, some of these guys, I mean, Poston come out of nowhere, I think, and shot a freaking whatever he shot to win, and
He shot 62 to win.
yeah, I mean, so I mean, it could happen. I mean,
But look at
this
Wesley Bryan's won on tour. He's 200 to 1.
That's a good
Garnett,
odds.
125 to 1 isn't bad.
What about Zhang Zhang?
Zhang Zhang is 100 to 1.
What do you think a safe like top 20 play is?
They haven't posted them yet.
They haven't posted them yet.
But if you really want to, so my theory on top 20s is a little different than most people who post like the 10, 20, 50 to 1 who try to get big money. I'd rather, like last week where I said bet Berger, Scotty, and Morikawa finish top 20. You're not going to get a huge return on it, but they all hit. Same with the top 10s where Scotty and Berger, they both hit. So if you're going to do top 20 bet, probably Corey Connors. You'll probably get like 2 to 2.5 to 1 on it, but you throw $25 on, get 50 back, which isn't a bad investment. Or even Bud Colley top 20. He's 8 to 1 outright, which means he should probably be 4 to 1 the top 20, right around there. I think that's safe. Or Sabs. If you can get 4 to 1 on Sabs the top 20, I'd probably hammer the shit out of that.
Yeah. I like it. I love it. We're on to another week. And if you haven't, check us out, dfsstats.com. We're going to be adding a few more things. We're adding more videos. And so I appreciate y'all's support. Thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe if you haven't. And we will see y'all right around the corner.